All right, I am back, and I think we're kind of close to having something that we can have the front end address, maybe potentially. So let's get going on that. So what's interesting here, I guess. Huh? Why is this called add routes? And multiple routes that uses the same configuration. The routes all go to the same path, but for different methods. I see. All right, because we can pass all the methods there, right? So I guess we could have done HTTP API.add route. No, it's a lie. All right. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So, what do we need here? Path is interesting. Records something. Yeah, how do we do that if we have? Also, this is not a thing that exists. We need to import that, I think, from integrations. HTTP Lambda integration is the actual thing we want to use. There we go. Yep. And then something like that. And then if we don't pass methods, default is any, so we don't need to pass methods. So how does this work? Like if we want to essentially proxy, so like everything under that path goes to it. How do we do that? So we want to look at, I guess, HTTP API, because that'll have the method documentation, add routes. Okay, add routes options. Path, the path at which all of these routes are configured. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, let's go look at, can we widen this? Excellent. So API Gateway v2 route creates a route for an API. So this is the CloudFormation documentation. Is there a path? Okay, it's not called path here, I guess. Request parameters, route key. The route key for the route for HTTP APIs. Route key can be either default or a combination of HTTP method and resource path. For instance, get pets. Okay. Target for the route. Okay, here's a route key. And the target is like the integration. Interesting. Okay, let's look at the create routes in the API reference for API Gateway v2. Okay, that is that. Routes. Oh, it's to create route. Creates a route for an API. Path parameters, API ID. Okay, and then go on. Route key. Still doesn't tell me a lot. Like it gives an example, right? But it doesn't say what it's actually for or what it does. Now, there's some things implied, but that implication doesn't actually tell me what it actually does, how it behaves. let's try. So is this the right documentation? I think it is. There we go. API Gateway HTTP APIs. Develop routes. Routes direct incoming API requests to backend resources. They consist of two parts, an HTTP method and a resource path. Or you can use any method to match all methods you haven't defined. You can create a default route that acts as a catch-all for requests that don't match any other routes. You can use path variables. Okay, a greedy path variable catches all child resources of a route. This is what I'm after. Must be at the end of the resource path. So this is what I want. This is essentially like a proxy. Hey, yeah, it's proxy. There. I think this may have some implications for how the Lambda is implemented, though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And then we want to do the same thing with our AI completion. Except it's just a static thing. It's just post. So is that it? Is that all we need to do? Is define those things and we're done? I mean, granted, there's a lot of stuff on the Pulumi side that we've not implemented yet, right? That is defining this Lambda can deal with this DynamoDB table, creating the Lambdas, creating the ECR repos where the Docker images for the Lambdas go. But on the other hand, like there's all this stuff for defining resources that we're skipping over. We are losing like the schema validation here for the API though. That is one thing that we can't do with API Gateway v2. But yeah, so if we deploy this, I'll just skip over the synth. We'll see. It synths first automatically as it is the deploy. So we'll, if something's really, really wrong like that, allow credentials is not supported when allow origin is star. Okay. Very well. Let's try that. See if that works. There were some warnings. What were the warnings? I don't know. Object. So that's in here. Okay, well that worked. So if we go back to here, and we go to API Gateway, and I refresh, there we go. Here's our API re-implemented. We have a post with an integration. It's integrated to our Lambda. Okay. Is it going to work? I don't know. So this is the endpoint. I guess the thing to do would be to go to our front end. Oh, right. That means I have to update. I have to open the .env file. So let me borrow this for a second. Go over to the front end. Struggle with opening the right file. We say API URL is going to be new thing. Repeat API URL equals that trailing slash on the end. Here we go. And then I think think I have the front end already running. Here. Yay, everything is broken. Let me refresh. So options requests are not working. This get request, all the things. Let's start at the beginning. So options to our endpoint. CORS preflight did not succeed. All right, so I probably need to log out and log back in. Maybe? That was worth a shot. So. We have a problem. So when we try to do options, we get a 401. Huh. Interesting. So let's go back to docs. Talk about CORS. Maybe allow header star is not valid. Let's see. Allow headers. A star is allowed. Only counts as a special wildcard value for requests without credentials. Requests with credentials, it's treated as little header name star. Oh, this is probably okay. Let's do that. And then was it headers or origin that were not compatible? So the preflight here. Maybe this is an interaction, right? Because we set the default authorizer. Okay. Well, let's change one thing at a time. One thing at a time. So let's do this. We'll deploy this. Let's see if that fixes the CORS issue. And if not, I guess the next thing to try will be to remove the authorizer to each. Yeah, that doesn't work. Allow credentials not supported when the allow origin is star. I mean, really, so can we do localhost? Well, first of all, it helps if I don't introduce a typo. But what is the, how does allow origin work? So this needs to be something more like this, doesn't it? At some point, I will deploy the front end, have it hosted somewhere, so it's not just running locally. It is very convenient right now as I'm actually using the new front end and all the stuff that we're deploying to process the VODs and get stuff onto YouTube, which is really nice. But I do find things that are like, various adjustments I need to make as I move through things. Okay, so if I refresh, CORS missing allow origin. Huh. CORS missing allow origin. Are we? I mean, potentially the issue is just that the API needs to propagate. Let's look at the console. Well, that's out of date. Whoops, go back. Yeah, there you go. Localhost 5173. Allow methods. Allow credentials. Just refresh. Where's missing allow origin? Yeah, response headers don't have hardly anything. Are we? Huh. Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's do the thing that I was gonna try next, which is we're gonna move authorizer stuff to the individual routes and see if maybe default authorizer is not playing nicely with CORS preflight. I really like the idea of just being able to have a default authorizer, because that would mean I wouldn't need to, it's just one less thing to go wrong, right? What if I accidentally leave off the authorizer? That is an interesting claim, that there were no changes. Authorizer ID. And then, I mean, it could be that is that like all default authorizer does is it like keeps that there for the add routes. In which case, maybe that does constitute no change. In which case, changing that did nothing. I mean, it said there were no changes. Yeah, no changes. Let's just try refreshing one more time. Let me look at localhost. Yeah, that's valid. Where's missing allow origin? Like all of these requests are about the profile, or records rather, which is the thing that is like proxied. What were other points? The stream ingestion one, and well, we can't really get to there from here. What about let's copy as fetch, go to the console. Yeah. What if I go to AI chat and we post to that? Okay. So this is not a proxy endpoint, but you can see that the CORS header access control allow origin is missing. Status code 204. So 204 is interesting. Does that mean that we're actually it's really odd. Same origin policy disallows reading remote. CORS request did not succeed. Status code null. Post this to 204. Did we actually hit? Did we post? But this API doesn't give back a 204. Wait, what is 204? No content. I mean that would be normal for like an options request, right? All right, the struggle continues. Let's look at the AWS console. That's like, so we have CORS set up for the API. Access control allow origin. So hold on, let's take this. Let's go to here. So the error was the header access control allow origin is missing. Isn't that interesting? So if I were to do an options request here, like if I were to do curl-x options to this URL, what do I need to pass? -v or something? Okay, stuff happens. I get HTTP 204, date, API Gateway, request ID. But I don't get my CORS headers. Why? Maybe I should read more documentation. Wait, is access what is access control expose headers? Okay, well, let's look at the documentation again. Example values, methods, sure, why not? Configuring CORS for an HTTP API with a default route and an authorizer. You can enable CORS and configure authorization for any route. When you enable CORS and authorization for the default route, there's some special. We don't have a default route, right? We have these routes. We're not using default route. We have a default stage. Here's a question. Can we see our deploys? So deployment created, okay, recently. So this is not a situation where we haven't deployed. That was like 10 minutes ago. So this should be good. It's automatic deployment enabled. Caches results of requests for all methods. Support unauthorized options request. Add options proxy. Options proxy has higher priority than default routes. We don't have a default route set. Right? You can specify one default route per API. But we don't have that, so it shouldn't matter. Authorization. Authorizers. Integrations. CORS. What am I missing? Cool that we can do throttling. Might be important. How about logging? Can we have some logging? You're gonna make me give you a log group? How terrible. Can you? Nope. Okay. Fine. Cloud watch. You know what I should do? I should not do that by hand. Is that an option here about logging? Domain mapping, integration, description. How do we configure logging for this guy? Metrics. Default stage, ENV, API endpoint. Okay, let's go back to this doc. So I see access log settings property. Oh, here we go. I see. So there's just a lower level construct, maybe. Classes. Authorize your integration route stage. Yeah, we might have to use like a level 1 construct to set up logging, which is not the end of the world. I may not actually do that right now. Let's keep looking. Can we just try doing a deploy directly? Auto deploy, no, we cannot. Auto deploy is enabled. We can't even do that. Just a double check. It's there. Okay, and this is the right. I don't see how it could not be the right URL. X6G. X6G. And we do get headers back. Just not the right headers. What if we just, I mean, this route doesn't exist, right? So this is like a 404. HTTP 204, no content. Okay. Sure. Huh. Let's keep reading docs. More information, see CORS, an API Gateway v2 API reference. Okay. All right, so AWS API Gateway v2 CORS. It's a lie. They're getting a 403 though. I'm getting a 204. What does it mean? Yeah, that's not. Yeah. Yeah, remember to redeploy. That's true. Yep. Nope. Nope, these are all like API Gateway v1 things. And yep, not relevant. Also not relevant. $204. There we go. API Gateway v2, not returning CORS headers from options call. And they're getting the same 204. Nice. Okay, so this is the problem. Came down to rejected headers. Any rejected header in API Gateway will cause a 404. Also, -I was the thing I was thinking of before, I think, instead of -v. Let's try that. Okay, well, at least that shows the headers. But I think it's like when we're sending host and user agent and accept. The statement of any rejected header in API Gateway will cause 404. Although it's not a 404, it's a 204. So I don't. Content type, blah 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 blah. No change. Start the Dart tracing an origin other than localhost. Definitely working query. No longer working. Ha ha ha. Okay. What is the parameter for sending? Yeah, that's not helpful. Curl. How do we send a header? Oh, it's -h. I know it's -h. Pretty sure it's -h. I think. Curl send header. Yeah, okay, I like that. Right. Origin. Oh, hey, Sleepy Thunder 09.
Sleepy Thunder 09 just followed.
Thank you for the follow. I hope you're enjoying watching me struggling with CORS. It's a common problem. So let's double check something. I mean, I did copy paste it, right? So it's got to be right. 5173. HTTP 173, right? Yeah, adding I and V together are not helpful. We don't get CORS headers back, which is a problem. Can we tell curl not to send any extra headers? Oh yeah, -I does head. Okay. Definitely not what I would want. Cool. Can we... What if we added... So what are the headers that curl is sending right now? Host and user agent and accept. Okay. And so this should automatically be deployed, right? Yes. So does that change what happens here? No. Did I include accept? It did. User agent host authorization. I mean, one would think I would need to allow origin. Let's try doing. Let's go back a few steps to here. Okay. I don't know. Let's try the front end again. Okay. We tried to do preflight requests to various places. And we say we see the error is CORS missing allow origin. So that's not great. Guess we can allow content type. Just gonna keep trying things. That's all you can do. Or go back to docs, but CORS preflight did not succeed. Interesting. A different error. Get a 401 error. That's interesting. So we did get a response. Okay. So... okay, sure. And here's the things I added, right? So accept authorization, content type, user agent are allowed headers. Allowed method star, allow origin. CORS preflight did not succeed because we got a 401 error. Huh. Okay, so API Gateway, V2, CORS, 401. Okay, well let's go back here. So this request doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't return CORS headers. So there's some other stuff that I would need to pass into the request for the CORS handling to trigger, but sure. API Gateway requires authentication header and CORS preflight request. This V2. Probably not. Yeah, not applicable. Can we please have only things about API Gateway V2? API, any method doesn't seem to work. Something. Okay, well, we can get rid of... well, let's do a couple things. So we know that we need to allow other things. What were all the things that we allowed? And which things are important to allow? Let me grab a screenshot of that. I really just like how that comes on this screen and not the screen over there. Let's see that. Anyway, so let's do this. And then I guess the thing I wanted to do was, instead of using any, we're gonna say, hey, this can be delete, this can be get, this can be patch and post and put. But not options. Maybe I wouldn't think this would affect the other things. No. Allow methods. Maybe it doesn't like that. That should be fine. I don't know. I really don't know. We're just gonna keep on trying things. We're gonna get there. Do another deploy. So that deleted our previous route and created a new one, and we should be done. So a question is going to be, now if we do like a hard reset here, do we get the old error or the new error? We get a 500. Hooray. We don't have a CORS error anymore. All right. This is great. Weird. Oh no, these are all options. 204. Okay. So internal server error. Excellent. So that's good. That's really good. So in our so it did this. Okay. So I guess it must have been the any. I guess I don't know for sure because they changed multiple things, but it could have been that. So when we're trying to get a record, calling this Lambda, let's go figure out what's going on with this Lambda. It probably doesn't like something about what's being passed to it. So let's look at its logs. All right, so I mean, that is the most recent group, but is not the right thing. Refresh. Okay, is it not getting that far? Resource policy of the Lambda function determines if API Gateway can invoke it. So, permissions-wise, did we miss permissions? We need to look at the role document. That's a lot of stuff. Trusted entity. I don't think this is the right place to be looking. Is there a Oh, yeah, below this. Resource-based policy statements. Right, so this is where there should be a thing saying that API Gateway can invoke the Lambda. I guess I need to explicitly grant it permission. Let's see if we can do that. This returns multiple routes. Interesting. Star equals. Nope. Is there a grant invoke? Grants access to invoke the routes. That's not what I want to do. I want to do something kind of the opposite of that, right? So we want to say props.crud function. Oops. .crud function dot grant invoke to r sub 0. Is that valid? It needs to be something that's an I grantable. Interesting. This is probably not the right way to do this. Let's go back to the docs. Right, we need something to create this policy statement. So going back, a bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Maybe something in API Gateway v2 integrations. Lambda integration. See, I would have expected that whatever permissions that were needed, this would do it. Let's take a look at the manage integration, invoke permissions. Nothing listed there, just an example policy statement. See, that suggests there's something already there, maybe? Can we find that in IAM. I guess the other thing to do is let's just manually turn on logging. Is this going to do what I want though? Some metrics. This doesn't support X-ray, does it? See, the fact that there's no recent logging for this Lambda suggests that it's not getting that far. And the reason for that might be permissions. Okay, let's do this. Let's so if I go to integrations and I manage integration and I edit, then I'm not going to change anything. I'll just click save. No changes. Okay. Then if I click edit here, there's nothing. Yeah, okay. So then I didn't change this. View policy. Yeah, it's empty. If we manually add a permission for API Gateway, just leave that blank? Nope. Interesting. That is an interesting message. Okay, never mind. Let's go back to docs. Is there a permission that we need to grant? Not really relevant. Integration. Let's look at the docs just on that. And nothing really special there. Okay. It's troublesome. But at least we got past the CORS error. Only to get these internal service errors. You know, one thing I could do, we did do that one manual request to a different endpoint. AI chat. CORS missing allow origin. Interesting. The headers are different. Let's take this request, copy as fetch, go to the console, clear the console. We're gonna change this to AI chat. Change this to a post. Access control, allow origin missing. Interesting. So we're not getting that for the other ones, but we are for that one. That's this. So why? does it mean? And of course, that. So why is it now working for some and not others? Huh. Well, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to see about getting some lunch. We're going to go find someone to go raid. And I'll ponder that for a little bit and see, you know, if anything occurs to me. Maybe if I just like put it off to the side for a little bit, something will